Now, I'm sitting here trying to figure out. They're gonna forcibly sell my house, right? So that means I gotta get all this stuff out of here. Put it somewhere safe. It's gonna cost money. Who's gonna pay for that? And I personally would rather handle the delicate artwork myself that my parents made. That has some strangers manhandle. Stuff that has, value to me. Even though monetarily, to them, it's nothing. Let's explain that. So, I value the art my parents made, so I'm just wondering how to approach this. In the most effective ways so that some of the work can be in galleries and be seen, and some of it can be sold online again, So I figure, within a few months' time, the house will be sold. May or may not be sold, depending. And regardless, I'd like to begin, preparing for that, as best as possible. If, Andrea's still, at the last minute, doesn't decide, to come to agreement and save our home, but I pray to God that he realizes that, we're better off sharing this place as brothers and being friends and renting this out and using this place as a business than selling it, because there's no equity in the house. And, it costs a lot of time and money to move this stuff out. And then the art is just looking to sit in storage, and if I ever just hash this out, make deals, split the stuff, and, I don't know, figure out a way now to move forward. If indeed, he screwed up so bad that now they're selling the house, he waited too late. He may realize that was a mistake after the fact, but I hope that he realizes it's a mistake now, and my concern now is like this is my bow and arrow, That's the first picture of me. It's my dog Henry, German Shepherd, collie mix. And this is so precious. It sports off ghosts. Somewhere in my hand. Always put that in the window, whether that one or the one. Don't ward off ghosts, That's my monkey. It's like, what are you going to do? You just dismantle somebody's whole life? Yeah, pretty much. So it's upsetting, and I decided not to let it bother me, and move forward. But that's the law, and, as really as screwed up as it sounds, truth is stranger than fiction. They just put a notice on my door that taking my freaking house away. Plain and simple, because of my brother's refusal to come to agreement, and now it's being forcibly sold, and he insisted it was going to be sold for a certain amount in a couple months. Just said, okay, a couple months to do that. Somebody's buying it that amount, and now, unfortunately, they'll just sell for whatever price, and be done with it, and we'll be, I doubt these people are going to hold out till somebody, pays $500,000 or $1 million for the house, and we'll both, tries to at least get some money for it, but I doubt that's the reality, okay? Given the circumstances that it's not being sold by us, but by the state, okay? And being appraised at $240, $220. So, I'm left with this dilemma, like, hey, I paid for this fridge on Amazon. Like, this has always been in my family, this cabinet. I don't know how we split that up. Some of this, valuable photographs that are next to this china from Germany. My mom made that card for my 14th birthday. This is a priceless photograph of my mother. Look at that. It's a card. Heavy duty stuff here, You know what I mean? put that? How do you belong some of it in a museum and some of it we can sell? But like these are so intimate, for me personally. Just pick something up. If they're gonna vacate me, I'd like to take this with me because I made this with my mom when I was a little kid. Really sentimental, deep sentimental value. And my brother's probably gonna piss me off and be like, no, I want that. I mean, come on, dude. I just don't know what to do anymore. It's like, it's so painful. This is our home. I would just come here and share once in a while. It's like a little fucking shrine to our parents. To fucking rent it out. I mean, come on, dude. Look at all these books. There's our whole life right here. Plus there's film, archival film, and I mean, there's so much. It's so expensive to put this in storage. And then if you just keep it in here, and have people come in and looking at the place with all this valuable stuff, okay, that's one thing to do while we're living here, But there's another thing to say, okay, it's just that for me at this point, I mean, this whole notion of having to go through, put everything in storage, if that's going to be the case, I'd like to start to think about dividing the artwork now just so we can sell it and make some money. If the house is going to be forcibly sold, I mean, come on, man, okay? That's the law. Judge held out that book, tell me where it says it, and I was like, oh gosh, okay, here we go again. Kind of things in life, you make you want. My brother got accused of things by a system, and and like it's like the same thing. It's like the law is the law, but you know what? You can really be overly harsh and overly exact and overly full of sticklers for the rules. I don't know how else to say. There's always should be an exception to certain rules. Some no, but certain rules yes, and that's why we have human beings, not robots. And I don't know how else to explain it. It's like handwritten will. My wife and I witnessed it during the pandemic. Pete and Debbie, my dad's two best friends, were also talking about printing out a will. Had sent him some samples, and we're aware of him handwriting that. And they left video in the hospital, and then 2 times in the hospital, 10, 14 days apart, and we had discussed what's going to happen here, and my brother was just turned around, to do this, so it's just painful, folks, and I need to share it, with God and with my friends, I feel like the world should know. What a sad thing, but hey, so I'll just find another place to put all this stuff and another place to live. Pick myself up and dust myself off and say goodbye to the really old trees in the backyard that I love and birds and the creatures here. What else can I say? Say goodbye to my mountain. Say goodbye to the steps I built my dad, the studio that we built together. Say goodbye to the molding that we built by hand, and over here, all the memories I have. There was a wood stove here. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's not what's supposed to happen, though. It's supposed to happen, Dad. It's funny, most of my dad's students, just find what's going on in my life after my dad, their favorite teacher, is gone, except for a few. And it's funny, you see some people who are like just genuine in life, and then others who just don't want to get involved. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's almost like being plastic. You see who your true friends are during really hard times. See who the people who are just, I don't know, And, I was to say, I mean, this is not a normal situation, not by a long shot. But, alas, all I could do was pray. And I pray that Andreas sees the light. And look at that. Look how beautiful that is. My mother painted that. What does it look like? Kind of looks like me, kind of. I kid you not. And my father and my mother were such talented artists. It's unbelievable. It's in the will that my dad wrote, and it's up to Oliver's discretion to give Andreas a fair percentage of the sales of the artwork. Why do you think you would write that? Because this stuff is valuable. It could be sold, like some things like that. I don't want to sell that. I want to just be able to look at that and bug out with it for the rest of my life. The same thing with this cabinet. It's just too beautiful. Same thing with this painting. That painting right there, my dad made that based on the monster that was supposed to kill me when I was a baby. Or that was trying to kill me, at least, These are such intimate things that they can't be replaced. You can't, I don't know how else to explain it. It's like, there's certain things that I find valuable, and I feel like, we need to have a conversation about that. Because if they're going to force us to sell the house, we're going to force us to sell the personal artwork that I made too, with my parents. Is that, it's just so, it blows my mind, It really does. I really start to wonder, it's like my dad, and I had a business set up where, I'm selling these things online, with my dad, BernardBuffy.net, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. This is like a family legacy and business here. That these huge paintings, how are you going to display them? Let's have them in a gallery or like a studio downstairs with a massive wall. Those paintings are huge. The wall is huge. And my dad and I wanted to make a giant painting together on that wall. That very same wall for so many years. And it's so sad that all these years, my brother and I weren't really getting along. There were some times when we both tried, and my dad was so happy to see us getting along for a little bit there. And then it was like, I don't know, man, for whatever reason, I just feel like, he doesn't get it, that, this year and a half since my dad died, I'm grieving my dad, all he did was make a stack of stuff to go to court with, bug me and harass me, and waste time and money, and then project and make a lie that I'm harassing him. I'm harassing him, mind you, comes here, rips up my marijuana plants, breaks open my back door, does something like security camera, MacGyver, James Bond style, the kid, and it's my little brother, it's my baby brother still. I feel like he, does he hate me? Does he hate me, God? Or does my brother have any kind of, love in his heart for me and respect for me? My dad just kept telling him, respect your brother, respect your brother. texted him that. Those were some of the last things he ever texted my brother. Last things he would tell me, He'd tell me he feels sorry for him, And just how, the court system kind of just allowed him to fuck me over now. It's fucked his life up so much to the point where I think he's just so angry and bitter and didn't even grasp that his dad was really, really sick. Like, really ill, man. And now, and he was broke. He's broke. He spent his life savings trying to help my brother, and he helped me and other people too. That's the kind of person he was. He was a very generous, loving father. My dad was a good guy, man. And when people are in pain and they have anxiety and they're angry, they yell and they scream and they're like, ah, and they have their eyes closed and they can't hear anything because they're going, ah, like that, And there's moments where I think Andreas forgets that his dad was this really nice, happy, fun dude, and wasn't the sick person who was yelling and screaming at him like he thinks of my dad as, and that somehow here still has his ATM and the house and the estate is somehow still some kind of ATM for him to withdraw on without contributing to the maintenance or paying the mortgage. And so that's where our disagreement came into play, I believe, where he just felt it was his best thing to do instead of visiting his dad, come in here and make me find him inside the house telling me, oh, that's not dad, and how fucked up he thought my dad was. And I was just shocked that he wouldn't come to the hospital and say goodbye to his own father. And I just watched for days as I cried, tears down my face, missing my dad as he began he had cut all the padlock, but dad had all stuff locked downstairs with padlocks. And he took it all. And I said to myself, okay, took off. And then he told me that, he's going to stay here free for a year in a studio and then leave. I said, okay. And then a few days later, the police show up and vacate me. For a few days, I had to go to court to come back in here. And I said, the justice, he's never changed his driver's license, 10 years ago. I live here, I've been taking care of my dad, I pay the mortgage, what's going on? And ever since then, there's been these commando moves at night, coming in here and, causing me to squat my bank information, or I don't know what, take air out of my tires, put soda on my car, who knows? I mean, the weirdest things have happened that my wife has noticed, while we were sleeping or walking in the backyard, And one day I came around the bend here and I found him. And he started swinging at me and I began to film it. And unfortunately, only the tail end of that was caught, but I wouldn't want to press charges on anybody because he's batshit fucking crazy. It's what's that gonna do, What's that gonna do? I mean, how's that gonna solve anything at this point, I need to move forward with my life. I think if they're gonna sell my house, I need to know right now what to do with all this stuff. Because this is the suit my dad got married in. I made that painting, obviously, you can see. Okay, the difference between the paintings I make and what my dad made, but I made all those up there. That's a picture my dad made himself. Okay, obviously my dad made that based on things in the forest that the cats would bring home and I would bring to him from the forest, where I would hang out a lot behind the house, as opposed to my brother would hang out in his room listening to MTV and beats and rap and music like that. Who knows, And why it's so different, life goes on. And just trying to make the best of it now, you know? It's like these things in life, how do you know, I guess you gotta cope with them. I'm not gonna bother you. Man. There's a lot of artwork here, you know, and it would cost a lot in storage to put it somewhere. Let's put it that way. Just like it would cost a lot of the down payment on a nice house like this right now. Why go through all the trouble moving out, you know? It's ridiculous. Well, you know what? We leave it up to God at this point because nobody's above the law, you know. You can't go shoot up the court now, can you, Ollie? You can't go behaving like Woody Woodpecker, make you think you're crazy. Woo! Well, what you gotta do is pray for love. My mom drew that. Right there. Me and my mom, Versailles. My mom holding a dress with Tante Hilda, my aunt Hilda, grandfather from Germany, sister. Meine Mutti und Vati und große Mutti und große Vati, my grandfather. We share the same blood, me and my brother. I mean, for heaven's sake, you know. It's like a fam. There is some. There's gotta be. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe just a cold-blooded hates me. You know. But I pray to God. No. I pray to God that brotherly love prevails, and that love and light touches his heart, and we work this out for the best. Because in a few months, if they say, "Oh, your house is being sold," I'll be like, "Okay, here, Andreas, here's the keys. I'll take all the stuff and pay for the storage, and send you the bill." Because that's what's gonna happen, man. You know, because I mean, you know, I filed a claim, did the best I could to save the house. Judge ordered it to be mailed that you know, they have the authority to sell it. Our home, mind you, even though I pay the mortgage, I pay all the bills, pay this here. Our home. How humiliating is that, folks? Pretty humiliating. Sounds humiliating to me, but hey, every day is still an holiday. Always was and always will be. And bet that on your bottom dollar.